Hi friends, in today's session we'll study about RBI and its function. What is RBI? It is the Reserve Bank of India. It is also known as the Central Bank of India, which is the highest and the regulatory body of all the commercial banks, specialized bank and cooperative banks. Under the advisory of RBI, all the commercial bank works. In India, RBI got existed in 1935. Now we will study about the functions of RBI. So before going to the explanation of all the functions of RBI, let us study what are the functions of RBI. RBI के क्या क्या फंक्शंस है, सबसे पहले हम वो देखेंगे. पहला फंक्शन है आरबीआई का इश्यू ऑफ करेंसी नोट्स. सेकेंड फंक्शन द बैंकर्स बैंक. Third function, the government's bank. Fourth function, custodian of foreign exchange. Fifth function, lender to the last resort. And sixth function is controller of credit. So these are the functions of RBI. In continuation with that, we will now going to the explanatory part of the first function, that is issue of currency notes. Now let me clear you, RBI has the sole authority to issue the currency notes other than 1 rupee coin. 1 rupee coin is published by the Ministry of Finance. Rest all the currency denominations and notes are issued by RBI. So RBI has the sole authority to issue the currency notes in India. Then the second function, we will go to the government's bank. RBI is the bank to the government. RBI purchases the securities and sells the securities to the government. In that way, as and when the money is needed to the government, RBI provides it. Then RBI is the banker's bank. This is the third function of RBI. Banker's bank means all the commercial banks are working under the advisory of RBI. RBI collects the money from the commercial bank and lends them as and when required, and in case of insolvency, RBI helps to the commercial bank. All the policies are designed by RBI. Earlier RBI was the regulatory authority of the commercial banks. इसका मतलब जो RBI आदेश देता था वो कमर्शियल बैंक को फॉलो करना होता था. अब RBI का रोल बदल चुका है और वो एडवाइजरी बॉडी हो गया है कमर्शियल बैंक्स के लिए. Then the next function is custodian of foreign exchange reserve. हमारे देश का RBI के पास अथॉरिटी है फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व की कस्टडी की. उसको रिलीज भी वो कर सकता है और जमा भी RBI में होता है, जिसको हम इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड के लिए यूज करते हैं और द गवर्नमेंट में यूज इट फॉर द इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड. Then the next function will go to the lender to the last resort. It is a very important function. अभी आपने देखा कुछ दिन पहले यस बैंक का इशू हुआ था. It was about to be at the stage of insolvency. So in that case, under the guidelines of RBI, shares were purchased by State Bank of India, that is a commercial bank, and it is an example that lender to the last resort. जब बैंक के पास कोई सहारा नहीं बचता तो कमर्शियल बैंक को आरबीआई सहारा देता है और उसे दोबारा उठने की हिम्मत प्रदान करता है. दैट इज व्हाई इट इज नोन एज लैंडर टू द लास्ट रिसॉर्ट. द नेक्स्ट फंक्शन इज कस्टोडियन ऑफ कंट्रोलर टू द क्रेडिट. अब क्रेडिट कंट्रोल दो तरीके से होता है. एक क्वालिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट होता है और एक क्वांटिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट होता है. तो सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे क्वालिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट की. सो वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट controller to the credit, which is the function of RBI. It has two aspects. One is quantitative and another is selective credit control. So under the quantitative aspect, there are three things. One is open market operations, second is bank rate, and third is cash reserve ratio. So first, let us see about the open market operations. In open market operations, RBI sells or purchases the securities of the government in order to control the situation of inflation or deflation. In case of inflation, RBI purchases the securities of the government and lends the money to the government. In the case of deflation, to control the deflation, the reverse condition is there. That is, RBI sells the securities to the government and gets the money. Bank rate is that rate in which commercial bank lends the loan from RBI for long term and for its long term utilization. The third thing is cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio is the amount of the total reserves of the commercial bank which is kept reserved with the RBI. So these are the controllers of credit under the quantitative aspect. Now we are moving to the qualitative aspect or selective control. In selective control, there are two main things. One is moral suasion and second is credit rationing. So if we see the credit rationing means RBI always says that loans are to be provided to the people, but it has to understand how many people are needful and worth giving the loan, seeing their credit worthiness and the situation, since India is a welfare form of government. So who and so is needed for the loan or the credit from the bank, to them only it should be given. And moral suasion means there should not be any partial behavior by the banks in providing the loan to the people. Those who are needed, and as and when it is needed, seeing to their credit worthiness and goodwill, the loan are to be provided. So these are the functions of RBI. Now, once again, let us understand what are the functions of RBI. First is issue of currency notes. That is, RBI is the sole authority. Bankers bank. Government RBI provides loan to the commercial bank as and when needed. Then the government's bank in case of buying and selling of securities. Then custodian of foreign exchange reserves. The bank has the sole authority to keep the foreign exchange reserve in order to function the international trade. Then lender to the last resort. It is for the commercial bank when they are in condition of insolvency and in need. RBI helps them and stands them again for its working, and the controller of credit. So these are the functions of RBI. Study it. In case of any doubt, kindly subscribe it and ask your question freely. So if you like this video, kindly like and share as many as possible. Thank you.